Hi everyone, welcome to the Freshwater Pearls podcast. My name is Hope and I am your host. I'm coming to you from Lansing, Michigan, where I live with my 4 kids and my husband and our numerous pets. And I thank you so much for joining me. If you are new, thank you so much for checking me out. I'm still kind of figuring out the ins and outs of podcasting. I guess thank you for watching. And if you're coming back, thank you, because I know it's kind of been rough. I'm trying to figure out the lighting still. If you live in Michigan or in the Midwest, maybe, it's very rainy today. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful fall day, but really bad for lighting. And this is the only time that I have. So this week I'm trying this light that's making there be a shadow behind me. So hopefully it captures the knitting more than it did last week or last podcast. But if it doesn't, I really do apologize, and thank you for sticking with me as I figure out how to make the podcast more visually appealing. I was going to say, I forgot to say last week that you can find me on Instagram at Freshwater Pearls, and the same with Pearls, P-U-R-L-S. And you can find our Ravelry group is the Freshwater Pearls podcast group, I think. So feel free to join. It's not very active now. I haven't quite figured out what to make it like on the group, what to do on the group yet. So I'm kind of, I guess, still working on that part. But I did want to give you a place where you could find me if you wanted to. Today I thought we'd just get right into my finished objects, and I have one that I wasn't able to find. Because they are my daughters, but I will start with that. We're just talking about it. It was the Beans the Cat pattern. You can find it on Ravelry, and I made my daughter Mabel, who turned 3 in September. I should know this. I made her an entire family of little Bean the Cats, and they so there's a mom and a dad, and then there's 4 little cats for our family. And she liked them. I guess like any 3-year-old, she liked them for a second and now doesn't have a clue where they are. So that's a little bit of a bummer, but it's what can you expect when you knit for little kids. So, but if you do want to check them out, feel free to go onto my Instagram and you can see the whole family of cats pictured. And then next week, if I find the cats, I will bring them along so you can check them out. But they were really a very fun pattern to knit on. The pattern was by, let me look at my list, it was by Linda Dawkins. I believe that's how to say her name, and it's a really popular pattern. The little cats are really simple, and I use different sizes of yarn to make the different rabbits. So, not rabbits, cats. So on the mom and dad, I think I doubled the yarn, used 2 strands, and that made them bigger. And then the brother, I used mostly worsted and sport weight yarn. So that pattern was really fun and really quick. And so if you're looking for a gift or just something cute to make a friend or yourself for your desk at work, that's a really fun pattern to knit on. Next, I have this. I didn't even show you. This wasn't even a work in progress last podcast. This is my Edgewater cowl. I'm going to make sure. I keep forgetting what she called this. Edgewater part cowl. And you can see it. This was very, very, very fun. This was a test knit. And you can see the designer is Burning River Knits. And of course I'm forgetting her name, but you can find her on Instagram at Burning River Knits. And her color work is really fun. This was a very, very fun and very fast knit. For the brown, I used, it's a brown sheep yarn, and then the cream tan color is just Lion Brand Woolies. And I think it's the oatmeal color. So you can check that out. Really fun basket weave up here. And the color work is just really fun. And I did On the pattern, it hasn't come out yet, but when it does, I did end up doing an extra repeat of the color work. I have a big head and I have a large neck. Like, I feel like lots of times people, when they wear scarves, I feel like they fit just so nicely, and my neck is just so, I don't know, I'm all neck or something. So I feel like they look funny. So I made the extra repeat in case in case the cowl ended up being too small and too tight, because I did have surgery and things on my neck kind of bother me still. So this one, I'll just put it on, ended up really nice, and I think it will be really nice under a coat because then it'll get kind of bunched. I could have done, though, I didn't have to do the repeat. So yeah, so if you decide to knit this, you could probably do it just as the pattern is written and not have a problem. But yeah, so that is the Edgewater Park Cowl by Burning River Knits. And when the pattern comes out, I'm sure I'll post it to my Instagram, so you can check that out. It was really fun. I love doing test knits for people because I feel like it's really fun to work with the designers, to talk with them and kind of see like what their process is, and sorry, my hair. It's just really neat to see and work with a person who designs things, because my brain doesn't think that way. I love to knit. I love to follow directions. I'm not able to design things. So it was really neat, and she was just so sweet. So she was very fun to knit for. Yeah. So if you want to knit this, just look out for Burning River Knits and follow her on Instagram. I'm sure she'll post when she publishes the pattern. And next, sorry, pardon me as this fell, I have my finished Angora hat. Oh boy, it's not too blown out. It's very white. Oh, it gets kind of blown out in the lighting. And this was, hopefully you can't hear the background noise of my kids. This was knit. I hand spun this yarn from my rabbit Snow White, and so I spun it and then I knit it, and it's just like I believe it was a 98 stitch hat thing. I didn't really follow a pattern, I don't think, anyway. I can't remember. I may have followed the Pearl Soho's like classic beanie or something. I can't remember, but it was 98 stitches. I just did a 1x1 rib and then just knit. And the thing with Angora is that it's very, how do I describe it? It sheds, but it's not like excessively. And I don't know if that's just the way I spin and that's why it sheds. So I wondered if I would like a hat, but I'll put it on so you can see it. Okay, this is actually harder. When people put on hats on YouTube, it doesn't look this hard. So I like it. It's very just basic, but with the Angora, I didn't want to do like a cable, which I could have, but I didn't know if it would be lost in the halo. I know that Angora works really well with patterns that are more open, like lace, because it does bloom. So next time I might do more of a lacy hat and see how I like it. But I'm really happy with this. It's very warm. I think I told you last time, I believe Angora is like 8 times warmer than wool. So I probably won't wear it too often, but I am glad that it doesn't shed on my head. Like, I was worried I would wear this and then I would just be like this big white poof ball. But it doesn't, I mean, you can see my gray hair, but it doesn't really shed on my hair. So yes, this is my Angora hat. So it's finished. So then, of course, after I was done with the Angora hat, now I have Angora in my nose. I cast on another hat. And here it is. So after the Angora, I was looking for like a really nice chunky hat, and I was in the mood for like cables. And I have a particular friend who I thought of knitting something for, and I thought she might really like having a hat. So I cast this beauty on. Can you see how like stiff it is? Okay, there it is. This is the braided cable beanie by Prem Knits. She's on Instagram as well. I bought the pattern on, braided cable beanie. I bought the pattern on her Etsy page, which is Prem Knits as well. Isn't that so cute? It's so fun. And I'm knitting it on clovers, and it is, these ones are size 6.5 millimeters, US 10.5. I'm gonna sneeze from the Angora. And I'm really liking it. It's so much fun. I'm knitting it out of, it's the Lion Brand, Lion Brand Thick and Quick. This is what I have left. Believe it or not, I feel like I'm playing yarn chicken. It looks like there's enough, but it goes so fast because it's such a chunky yarn that I'm worried I won't get up to the top. But I think I have just about, I don't know, 6 more rows or so, and then decreases. So I'm hoping I have enough to finish. So yeah, so this is the braided cable beanie by Prem Knits. You should check her out. I have like I said, I don't have a mind for designing, and so especially cables, I can do them, but I can't, I just can't figure out how to design them into anything. So I was just gonna make her a hat, like just a regular beanie, because it was just easiest, and I decided that I wanted to try the cable hat. And I know there's a lot of free patterns on Ravelry, a lot of free cable patterns for hats, but I loved the braided cable, and I just wanted it to look nice because the friend that I have who I'm knitting for just really needs something a little bit uplifting, and I thought this would be the perfect gift for her. So hopefully that's finished, and if I give it to her before the next podcast, I will snap a picture. Along with that, I also knit a hat that I don't have with me because I forgot about it, and then I gave it to my friend. It was a gift knit for my friend's birthday. One of my best friends had a birthday actually it was at the end of September, and so I knit her a hat, and that was I'm trying to remember what it was called. It was called the Super Simple Chunky Beret, and that was by Crazy Aunt Pearl, and I found the pattern on Ravelry, and then it linked to her webpage, and it was a free pattern, and it was great. I've never knit a beret before, and it was super simple. It went really fast. I knit it out of, Hobby Lobby has this blend of acrylic and alpaca, and it's very, very, very soft. It was this really soft gray. I wish I would have thought to take a picture of it because it was really nice, and I think I might go back and get some of that yarn for a hat for myself. I don't mind using acrylic yarns for hats, especially because here in Michigan they just, although it's nice to have a warm wool hat, they get worn all the time, and so it's nice to have a hat that you can just kind of throw in the wash and not worry about it. So that was that, and so that's on the needles. That was that. I think I forgot. Oh no, I have it. Sorry. Okay, so last week I showed you these, and I didn't get very far on them, but I thought I'd see if I could get better lighting this time. I don't know if I will. Okay, so these are just my vanilla socks that I have going, and I think I knit maybe another 2, maybe an inch or 2 on them. Yeah, the lighting is just so bad. But these are really fun. These are just my go-to knit that I just bring along with me, although my husband's birthday is coming up next month in November, and I showed you his socks that I'm knitting for him out of like a navy, and I'm doing it's like a garter rib sock. It's really, really boring because the navy is just so boring for me. So I should switch out my knits and do that sock eventually, but I really don't want to. So for now, I'm knitting on these, and I'm knitting this with Quince & Co. I forgot to look up the yarn. I'm sorry, it's so dark. And then this is my yarn that I'm using as well. That, and then I'm knitting it on, these are just the nickel plated needles by Knit Picks in the 2.25 mils, which I don't mind them. They're pretty blunt tips. Oh goodness, do you see how that's so bent? Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong side of the iPad. So yeah, there's my little wonky needle. But they're fine to knit on, and I didn't even notice that was bent. So I have those, and then I have one more width that I'm actively working on, and this is something I am so excited about. I have seen the Brooklyn Knit Folk, who is Jacqueline Salem. I have seen her designs, her sock designs as she's working on them, and as soon as she started working on this one, I really wanted to knit it. Sorry, my son is laughing. My son is laughing at the bottom of the steps. He thinks it's funny that I podcast. So anyway, I cast on the Clark socks by Jacqueline Salem, and I am having so much fun with them. I'm hoping the lighting comes through because they're really fun. Or I'm hoping the knitting comes through. So these are the Clark socks. You see them? Isn't that cable so neat? She made the design so fun because there's little like pearl bumps that go in, and then the cable here in the front, as well as this really cute, I'm sorry it's not there, this really cute little cable in the back. But I just think it's amazing, and the pattern is so easy to follow because the pearl bumps kind of help you remember which row you're on. So I don't even use the stitch counter, which I normally would, but I'm loving this pattern. And I don't usually knit cuff down socks, but I'm loving it. I mean, I guess when I get to the heel, I will see how much I love it still, but I love it. So if you guys are wanting a pattern sock that's not, that can almost, it's basically like a potato chip knitting. It's very easy, but really interesting. You should check out Jacqueline Salem's Clark socks because they are so fun. And I'm knitting these on, I think I mentioned that I was waiting for needles to arrive. These are the Chiagu, I think that's how you say it, red lace. And these, her pattern calls for the 2.25, which is what I normally would use anyway. So yeah, and I just have a couple of random stitch markers on here. So yes, here's a little, I'll show you a little, how do people do this? A little rainbow. And this yarn, which I thought was fitting for this yarn, because this is my hand-dyed yarn. It's just a nice green. It's not, I mean, I guess it's kind of coming through. Yeah, I thought this pattern would be perfect with this green because it does kind of, I don't know, it reminds me of sort of a Celtic cable, and I think the green is fitting for that. So yeah, I'm really enjoying these. If you're looking for a sock pattern, go get it because it's super fun. Okay, next I wanted to talk about, sorry, I'm looking at my list, some Christmas knitting ideas that I'm thinking, and I wanted to kind of see if anybody else is doing any Christmas knitting. I am thinking that I will do some Christmas knitting this year. Usually I make the kids like a little handmade gift, and that's it. I can't stand, I don't do well under pressure for knitting when it's not for me. If it's for me, I love it, but for other people I just have a hard time. But this year I think I'm going to do a lot of hats. I'm thinking that my sister, my mom, maybe my dad, and my brother-in-law I don't know. As I'm talking about it, I don't even know if I want a Christmas knit. I might do a lot of those braided cable beanies, which I showed you before by Prem Knits. I might make some more of those because they are chunky and they go so fast. So I might do that. But I also I have some socks that I'd like to knit for a friend. So I might do that. I don't know. So anyway, the point of this, let me just take a sip. The point of talking about this is I'm going to do a giveaway, my first giveaway ever on the podcast. And for the giveaway, I want to know, what are your Christmas knitting plans? What are you going to knit? Whatever it is, if it's for you or for gifts, what is your go-to knit for a gift? Anything like that, anything Christmas related. I love to hear what you have to say, and you can. I'm trying to think. I think it would be cool if you guys could just comment on either the YouTube video. Or you can go over to the Ravelry group and join the group and comment there. You don't have to join the group, I guess. Yeah. What I do ask is that you become a subscriber if you do want to enter the giveaway. So feel free to click subscribe if you would like to. But I'm going to give away this skein of yarn. I don't know if you can see it very well, and I can take a picture of it. This is also my hand-dyed yarn, and there's no band or anything cool. It's a fingering weight, and it's a silk blend. You saw this yarn on my shawl that I showed last week. It was a pattern by Ruth of Knitterarium, a test knit, and I knit it in this yarn. So the yarn is a little bit darker than you can tell, but there's over 400 yards here. It might even be 500, but I don't know for sure because this is actually yarn that I received from a family member who had it in her stash that I dyed. So yeah, it's a very pretty green, and this is what I'm going to give away. So if you'd like to try to win this yarn, please click subscribe on the YouTube channel and either comment on YouTube or head over to the Ravelry group and comment in a thread that I will post, and I will pick a winner based off of that. So yeah, there you go. Lastly, I said last week that I was going to show you one of my bunnies, one of my Angora rabbits. So I thought that I would bring him along today. His name is Red, and you will look at him and wonder why his name is Red. But when he was little, he used to look kind of red, so that's why we named him Red. Yes, so I'm sure he'll be a little nervous, but here he is. Oh, he's so fluffy. Can you see him? He has to move his eyes, or move his hair off his eyes. Red, so you see his face, there's a little bit of red still. Oh, so there he is. He's just the most friendly bunny. The thing about Angoras is that they are super friendly. I have never had an Angora that I haven't fallen in love with. I've never had a mean one, and they're just so sweet. So I thought I'd bring him on because a lot of people don't know about aren't educated in how Angoras are shorn. Lots of people, at least lots of people maybe who aren't spinners or knitters, think that Angoras are kind of like in order to harvest their wool, you have to kill them and then use like the, what do you call it? Like the skins kind of. But that's not the case with Angora rabbits. All you have to do I shouldn't say all you have to do because they do require a lot of care, is you do have to brush them regularly, and their wool stays nice and clear of debris, and then you just you brush them as you go, and you keep the wool, and he's snuggly, you keep the wool to harvest as you brush, because you can see it kind of comes out as you pull. Well, I guess you can't see that, but there is a little bit of wool on my, it only requires like a very light, kind of like if you were to brush your cat. Oh, you can't even see it. So you can either do it like that, or you can shear them with the clippers, and they're not afraid. I've never had a rabbit that has been fearful of them because they're so used to the daily grooming that they require. So you can do with the clippers, or lots of times we just cut it with the scissors. So Red's wool is not quite ready to be shorn. I would probably wait another, well, it's getting there, but I would probably wait another month or two. So when it is ready, we will do that, and then we will just simply spin it. We don't have to wash it or process it or anything. Angora is very much ready to spin right off the rabbit. It's very soft, it goes together well. The reason people might card it is if they want to blend it with other fibers, or if they just find that their wool isn't as, what do you call it, even as they'd like it to be. And so then they find, some people find that carding it just makes it more prepared and easier to spin. So I just spin right off the rabbit. By that I don't mean I spin him as he's in my lap, as some people do, but I do shear first and then spin it. But I brought Red because if you can see, you can't see, but he has this very beautiful like lilac undertones to, if you see his undercoat here, he's very, very cute. So I can't wait till he's shorn so I can use his wool, but he's so fluffy. So yes, and this looks like just crazy because it's right in his face. Oh, I tickled his whisker. So there's Red. Can you see him? He's super cute. So I thought I'd bring him along just so you guys could check him out. So anyway, I'm going to try to keep to, I'm so sorry. Also, if you've never had Angoras, their wool does kind of get in your eyes and your nose and everywhere, and is a little bit itchy. But anyway, I'm going to try to keep to a bi-weekly schedule of podcasting. If I have knitting, I guess. So far, knitting has been a little bit, not difficult, but it's hard to find the time to actually kind of get anywhere on anything, which is nice. Why it's nice that I've been working with chunkier yarns lately with the baby. So as long as I have the knitting and I have the time and the lighting, I'm going to try to do a bi-weekly podcast. So I really hope that you'll come back and watch. But yeah, feel free again to click subscribe and leave me a comment telling me what your best Christmas knit is, or what your plans are for Christmas knitting this year. I really like some inspiration myself for my own Christmas knitting. So yes, thank you again for joining me, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.